saying is the president has sworn into office 3 new members of the Electoral Commission, and that has brought about some reaction from the public. The NDC has joined in. The MP for Buem constituency, Akufo-Addo, is promising that whatever the president intends to achieve with this appointment will not be realized, because the minority NDC will also ensure that they are up to task to ensure that they neutralize whatever the intents are. But we'll be going back to Joseph Akable, who has gathered more on these new members so we could understand the sort of members that we're dealing with, the members who've been sworn into the Electoral Commission. But still on that particular swearing in of the new members of the commission, the president was not in favor for calls for the revision, or in some cases the abolition of the 1992 constitution. He said the calls are misplaced.
In this regard, despite concerns raised in some quarters about the effectiveness of the NCC in the discharge of its functions, with some going so far as advocating for its abolition, I am of a different opinion. I believe the NCC continues to be relevant and still has an important role to play in helping establish a culture of awareness in our country in which citizens are alive to their civic responsibilities and duties, especially at this time when irresponsible elements within the body politic are calling for the overthrow of the constitutional order. Further, the NCC needs also to be sensitive to the demands expressed in several quarters for amendments, wholesale or limited, to the Fourth Republican Constitution. Without prejudging the outcome of the national debate on this all-important matter, I can only say for now that there is need for caution for all of us, by all of us, in calling into question the Constitution which has provided the bedrock for the longest uninterrupted, stable period of free governance in our otherwise turbulent history. It may well be an area where the application of the classical maxim, festina lente, will be truly appropriate.
Now, the NDC caucus in Parliament is readying itself for a crucial week as Parliament intends to work on some important government businesses this week. Now, 3 key revenue bills which have not been worked on are set to be taken on Thursday, with President Akufo-Addo and Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta all saying that these bills are crucial to securing an IMF deal. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kwaku Asante has more in this report.
These revenue bills are crucial to government securing an IMF bailout, but member of the Finance Committee, Richard Achampon, says the NDC have made their concerns on the bills known and will not be supported until they are factored in the reports.
But we have some reservations. The way we are looking at the economic environment that we find ourselves, the hardship that people are complaining about, inflation of 52%. So on top of all these, if you want to introduce additional taxes or increase the bandwidth, people are going to pay more, and it's going to affect the disposable income of the individual. So these are the matters we are looking at. Is it the right time to impose taxes on the people? But they are looking at the IMF deal so that they can rake in the 3 billion facility. But we can't eat your cake and so have it. So let's also think about the ordinary person on the street. If we impose this additional tax, the tax burden will be heavy on them.
The other crucial business in the House is President Akufo-Addo's ministerial appointments. The nominees were vetted more than a week ago, but due to the lack of consensus, they are yet to be approved. The NDC has directed its members to reject the nominees. The NDC MPs insist this will be carried through.
Well, the party has made it very clear. And I believe that as members of the NDC, members of Parliament, we have also learnt our lessons from previous occurrences. I know many Ghanaians and our rank and file expressed disquiet. Many of them were truly disappointed in us for what happened. So for us as members of Parliament, I would say this also gives us an opportunity to redeem ourselves. So that calls for redemption has presented itself.
Well, we have said over and over again that President Akufo-Addo should show an example by reducing his large government. So we are where we are. We haven't changed our position. we are saying that no, he's living too large, he should show by example. So
when it comes to the floor, Ghanaians and your supporters can expect that you will do as you said, vote against these nominees.
Let me speak for myself. I'll do as I said.
Parliament has just about 2 weeks to go on break. There are some businesses that are high on the agenda of Parliament. The Electoral Commission, CI, the ministerial nominees, the appointments that have been made by the President to the Supreme Court, as well as some key revenue bills that are currently before the House. With just about 2 weeks to go, these bills are expected to come to the floor, and the NDC MPs are readying themselves for a fight. They are saying that as and when it is needed, they are going to oppose some of these measures and some of these businesses that government is seeking to put in place. It is a numbers game ultimately for some of the businesses. If the government side, the majority side, are able to get all their MPs on the floor of the House, then they will be able to get them through. If they are unable to do so, then the NDC MPs may be able to carry out their threat to reject them. But government side, the chief whips, as we've been made to learn, are now trying to get all their numbers on the floor of the House. On Thursday, the financial bills are expected to be taken and voted on, and the ministerial nominees may also come up any moment from now, and both sides are readying themselves for what will be a crucial battle on the floor of Parliament. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Now, today, the Education Minister, Dr. Yaoseh Addo, became a call center worker and a miracle worker. This is because at the Computerized School Selection and Placement Center, he addressed the concerns of parents and their wards. Now, that is story still to come here in the bulletin, but this story will be coming to you shortly. But let's go back to my colleague Joseph Akable, who is joining us with details on these 3 new members of the Electoral Commission. Joseph Akable, what do we know now?
So for Dr. Appiah, we know that he is a professor, some professor with over 10 years experience in the computer science industry, and he is a lecturer at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. We know that he's a patron of TESCON at that particular university as well. There was a point in time when the president was about to nominate the ministers, the regional ministers, and his name came up as someone who was being tipped or being looked at as the possible Bono regional minister. And so that is what we know about him. For Reverend Akufo-Addo, actually, he is the Director of Program for the Anglican Diocese of Accra. He's a member of the United States Trade Advisory Committee on Africa and served on the 2020 Eminent Advisory Committee of the Electoral Commission of Ghana. He's also a co-founder of a faith-based foundation which has a vision to see a world where underprivileged youth have an opportunity to serve and pursue their passion. Then the final member that was nominated is Salim Ahmed Tijani. He is a conservationist, a data analyst, and environmental consultant who attended the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And these 3 individuals join one other member and the 3 other members to make the 7-member commission as provided for under Article 43 of the 1992 Constitution.
All right, grateful to you. That's my colleague Joseph Akable with details on the 3 new members of the Electoral Commission. But